Hello, my name is Heather Reid and I'm a meteorologist and former weather presenter for the BBC. I've been reporting on the weather for many years. Weather and climate affects our lives in so many ways. Our lifestyle, the clothes we wear, how we travel to school and work. It also has a big impact on our country and affects decisions like how much our government should spend on flood defences or raising awareness about the damaging effects of the sun. Of course, climate change means understanding our weather and climate has become more important than ever before. I've been giving some of you the chance to ask questions on weather and climate, and I hope the answers help you understand more about these important issues.
I'd like to ask Heather, what is the difference between weather and climate?
That's a good question. Weather actually describes what's happening outdoors on a daily basis. In Scotland, the weather can change several times in just a single day. Now, climate is different because when we're talking about our climate, we're referring to how our weather behaves over several years. So we can add up all the rainfall we get in a year and all the hours of sunshine and all the temperatures, and from that information, we can work out if our climate is wet or dry, warm or cold. So weather refers to day-to-day changes, climate is worked out over a much longer period of time.
I would like to ask Heather why we get so much wind and rain.
Scotland can get high winds and heavy rain because of our northerly position or latitude on the globe. At our latitude, we're fairly exposed to low pressure systems moving in from the Atlantic, especially during the autumn and winter months. These systems bring us that wet and windy weather.
I'd like to ask Heather, what is Scotland's climate zone?
Well, believe it or not, Scotland actually has a temperate climate. By temperate, we mean the weather isn't too extreme. We get fairly cold winters, but it's not like the North Pole. We also have some warm weather during the summer, but it's not as hot as the Sahara Desert. So our climate is described as temperate. Scotland's climate is actually warmed by the North Atlantic Drift, a warm ocean current that starts in the Gulf of Mexico. This warm ocean current makes Scotland much warmer than it should be given our northerly latitude on the globe. Most of our weather also comes from the Atlantic, and that makes it very changeable and unsettled.
I would like to ask Heather, where is the hottest place in Scotland?
I love a question about weather statistics, and the highest temperature on record so far in Scotland was 33 degrees Celsius in the Scottish Borders during August 2003. 2003 was also the warmest summer ever recorded, with an average temperature of 24 degrees Celsius, but this could be beaten over the next few years. The island of Tiree is often quoted as the sunniest place in Scotland, and the wettest place tends to be in the West Highlands.
I'd like to ask Heather, if she could live anywhere, where would you live?
That's a great question, but you know, I'm actually quite happy living here in Scotland. I like the fact that the weather changes as often as it does. It's certainly not boring, and variety is the spice of life. But if I were forced to leave Scotland, I'd probably move to New Zealand, where the scenery is very beautiful and you also get a good old mix of weather.
I'd like to ask Heather if everywhere in Scotland has the same climate.
Well, no, not exactly the same. Our most common wind direction is a southwesterly, blowing in from the Atlantic. The winds pick up lots of moisture from the ocean, and that can produce a lot of rain in the west of Scotland. Parts of the West Highlands can see over 2,000 millimetres of rain each year. The east is drier, with parts of the east coast recording less than 800 millimetres of rain each year. This can be drier than many parts of England. The east can often be a bit colder too, because the North Sea is colder than the Atlantic waters. Different wind directions can also produce above average temperatures across most of Scotland. A southerly wind, for example, can give us some high temperatures around the Moray coast. A northeasterly wind can bring weather from the Arctic and Siberia, which can really lower temperatures dramatically.
I'd like to ask Heather, does climate stay the same or does it change?
That's a really topical question, and the Earth's climate has changed many times during our history. We've had ice ages in the past and also times of extreme warmth. These different climates have been caused by a variety of factors, including changes in the way the Earth orbits around the Sun, volcanic eruptions, and also changes in the way our oceans move and behave. Now our planet is warming up once again, but this time most scientists believe it's due to an increase in man-made greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. Changes do happen naturally, but these changes happen over thousands, if not millions of years. However, as a result of man-made climate change, the world's temperature is rising faster than ever before. These changes are taking place quicker than anticipated and faster than animals and other systems can adapt. Leading scientists and bodies like the United Nations believe that climate change is happening and that it will bring increasingly unpredictable and severe weather. Even in my 15 years as a weather presenter, I've noticed changes in the weather. I've noticed that nighttime temperatures are now higher, and every year we seem to break records for the warmest, coldest and wettest or driest seasons or months. These are all indicators that climate is changing rapidly.
I would like to ask Heather, how will climate change affect Scotland and the world?
That's a question I'm being asked more and more. Today we have record amounts of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. Scientists believe this has led to global warming. In Scotland, we're likely to see an increase in flooding and also more severe weather events. Drier summers and wetter winters could eventually lead to the loss of certain plant and tree types. Climate change may also affect native animal and fish populations like salmon, deer and ptarmigan. Globally, as our planet continues to warm, melting ice will cause sea levels to rise. A 1 metre rise could lead to 100 million people losing their homes, and global warming could also lead to an increase in hurricanes, tropical storms and intense rainfall events. If we don't try and reduce the amount of carbon dioxide we're putting into the atmosphere, our planet will change forever.